To say I enjoyed this book is an understatement, and you could be forgiven for buying the book just for the cover alone, right? What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. You're with Chris, and today I'll be talking about Grady Hendrix's fourth novel, My Best Friend's Exorcist, published in 2016. Yes, I am a little bit late to the party here, but guys, I have to tell you, I had an absolute blast with this book. Now, last month I read his Amazon short called Ankle Snatcher. I was so impressed with the story that I made it my mission to immediately go and hunt down his backlist to see what else of his that I could read. Now, recently I watched a video that Mike over at Mike's Book Reviews did about the book. Now, I have to say the intro to that video was absolutely sensational. He sung a little bit of Against All Odds by Phil Collins to introduce the video. And I envy him because that takes balls to do that, and he has been known to belt out a tune or two over time. But after watching the video and hearing what he had to say about it, I was sold and made the decision there and then that I had to have this, especially as an ex-Jenner, right? And Mike has been very influential in my spending over the last few years, and this is no different. So thank you, Mike, for the rec and for making me spend my money. Okay, so let's talk about the plot here. So Abby and Gretchen have been best friends since the 4th grade, and after a bout of skinny dipping with some other friends, Gretchen begins to behave a little bit strangely. She's moody, she's irritable, and strange accidents seem to happen when she's in the vicinity. Now, Abby investigates and begins to cotton on to what's happening, and the stakes here are raised very high, and their fate will be determined by one question: is their friendship powerful enough to beat the devil? Now guys, I have to tell you, the cover for this book is absolutely sensational. Look at this. Grady Hendrix has made it look like a VHS tape. So it's got a very, very retro look. It's got the video shop stickers here. It's got the VHS logo down here. It's got some wear marks, and it's got the coloured stripes that I think one studio in particular did that on a lot of videotapes. Don't quote me, I'm not sure who that was, but just look at this, and the back of the cover looks like a VHS tape as well. And I just think from a marketing standpoint, it's a very, very genius decision to actually do it this way, because I don't think anyone else has actually done anything like this. It's just absolutely remarkable, and if you were shopping online and saw this or in the stores, it would instantly grab your attention and you would simply buy it just for the cover alone. But obviously guys, with this book there's so much more to it than just the cover, but I absolutely love it, and I'm very happy to own this now. Okay, let's talk about the table of contents, because this is remarkable. What Grady has done is he's labelled a lot of the chapters as prominent 80s smash hits, and what's also remarkable is whatever the title of the song is relates directly to what is happening in the book at the time. Now, I'm going to reel some of these off. Now, some of these songs, I would challenge any Gen Xer to tell me that they didn't have a lot of these, if not all of them, on their mixtapes. I remember sitting in front of the stereo making up my own mixtapes back in the day and having my finger poised above the pause button, because on your mixtapes, guys, you never wanted to hear the radio announcer at the end of your songs, did you? So it was a very good exercise in timing. But let's reel off a couple of these notable mentions here. So you've got Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds, We Got the Beat by the Go-Go's, Broken Wings by Mr. Mister, Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler, New Sensation by In Excess, Dancing in the Dark by the Boss Bruce Springsteen, Missionary Man by the Eurythmics, Like a Prayer by Madonna, and Fast Car by Tracy Chapman, and things like Don't Stop Till You Get Enough by MJ. So I think when you start to read the chapter and you read the chapter heading, you play the songs in your head while you read. So it's a bit of an experience there. Now, the 80s pop culture references in this book were awesome. It is jam-packed full of them. It really takes you back to right back to 1982, and this goes through to 1988 as well. But in 1982, it was an important year for me as a coming-of-age thing. I was only 8 years old, but guys, the movies, E.T., Poltergeist, First Blood, and bands. I could be here all day, but you've got bands like Toto, Hall & Oates, foreigner. The list will go on and on and on. The first portion of the book explores Gretchen and Abby's friendship and how it evolves before the proverbial shit hits the fan and Abby has to save Gretchen's soul after she becomes possessed by a diabolical demon called Address, I think. Don't quote me on that. As the novel progresses and the stakes are raised really, really high to a fever pitch, the message within the pages, despite all the horror elements, is the endurance of friendship and how it not only lasts for a few years but lasts for decades and even beyond that to even a lifetime. So with everything that goes on, it's like hell on earth, but at the novel's backbone, I think, is all about how this friendship endures over time, and how could it not after what these two characters go throughout the novel. Alright, now Grady Hendrix has crafted this story very well, and he's put his own spin on how possession is depicted. What you won't see here is anyone's eyes flood and turn black like you see on, say, Supernatural, and you won't see pea-coloured spew here either, or vomit, but no disrespect to the Exorcist movie, it is a great movie, but I think he's just put his own spin on it, and the process of the possession itself is done in a very subtle way, and it's very gradual. The process isn't just instantaneous, so you won't see Gretchen's hair flap out or blow with invisible wind or anything like that. It's a much more subtle way the possession works in this book, which is quite refreshing and really interesting that he has his own take on it. The ending, guys. Have to tell you that there are too many books, too many to count, that have shit endings, and this book, I'm pleased to say, is not one of them. I really like how this one had a very quite a lengthy denouement, so it didn't just stop like most books do. It went on with a nice little epilogue there that described what happens afterwards, and I found myself getting a little bit emotional as I was drawing near to the end. The final 15 or so pages was quite touching. So despite everything that was gross that happens in the book, you know, there is a scene there where there's a worm. I won't go into that too much, but is a little bit stomach churning and made me feel a little bit queasy, and it was quite difficult to read about. But the graphic imagery was absolutely top notch in how Grady describes everything that happens and the way Abby confronts the demon. I really found this, how Abby deals with the demon, very, very interesting, because she's not religious, she's not Christian, she doesn't have faith, but she ended up using phrases and things in her incantations to try and expel the demon. Probably a mild spoiler here, but just bear with me on this. She was saying things and shouting things in a theatrical voice which came from nowhere, and she was saying things that only is applicable and appropriate to both her and Gretchen, and it kind of reminded me like the Losers Club using their talismans against Pennywise in It. So I found that very, very interesting, because it wasn't the Lord's Prayer and everything like that. She actually started to say other things which was pivotal to the climax there. But guys, I cannot recommend this book enough. If you haven't read it, please do go out and grab yourself a copy. I guarantee you will not be disappointed, and yeah, I absolutely loved it. And thanks again, Mike, for the rec. I don't regret buying this for a second, and it's one I will probably read again, and I'll be sure to seek out more of Grady Hendrix's work. I may even start How to Sell a Haunted House shortly. But there you go, guys. That is it for my spoiler-free review of my best friend's Exorcist. I hope you liked it. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, offer up any comments below in terms of feedback, and I'll always respond to that. If you've read the book, let me know what you thought of it, and let's compare notes. But guys, until the next video, happy reading.